in the top 3 as well as in the Masters class. That'll be part of that FEL Emzone Radical Cup Canada Series presented by Michelin coming up next year. But before that, a championship to be decided over the 40. Before, looks like it'll be Adam Ross and Peter Lockhart here in a minute. We need to have a white Jeep Grand Cherokee license DBW B969. It is blocking the scales in the paddock. That is a white Jeep Grand Cherokee DBW B969. We need to have that vehicle moved immediately. Otherwise, the tow truck is going to move it. Again, a white Jeep Grand Cherokee DBW B969. Please move your vehicle. It is parked blocking the scales in the paddock.
Well, you've heard them before, you've heard us. They're out on the racetrack now, the Emzone Radical Cup. I'm Adam Ross with Peter Lockhart, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this race. Beautiful looking field of cars. I love the way these race cars look on the track. I love the way they race on the track. And this is going to be a great show, Peter. We'll let you get situated with your headset. We'll push that button, and now the world can hear you as soon as you pull that down to your mouth, and we're good to go.
Hey Adam, it's a fabulous looking day today, and this is of course the last race of our 25 series.
Are you too loud or too quiet? Need a little more volume? A little less volume? Either one of those. Last race of the year, great car count. A few stories we should mention, and fans, you might want to look at the very back of the field. Let's start with this so the fans get an idea of who they're looking at. Jonathan Woolridge has jumped into the 26 car. He will start tail on the field. And if you want to watch some fun racing, I have a feeling he's not going to take very long to get situated and try to make some moves.
Oh, Jonathan's been around this track. He's certainly a former champion. He knows his way. He can jump in these cars. As you know, they're all the same, and I'm sure the setup is correct.
We're going to go green right away as they come through turn number 10. Caden Goodridge in the 55. Brady Clapham in the 77. Going to bring us to the green flag.
Perfect start.
I was just going to say, what a great even start for this class. They were down through turn number 1, still side by side for the top spot.
Keep an eye on Kenny Reedman. He'll be moving up pretty quick. Important day for Kenny.
Well, we'll talk about championship implications as the day goes on, but what a battle at the front. Caden Goodridge had to fight for that lead from Brady Clapham. Clapham going to settle into the second spot. I almost think these cars shouldn't have numbers. We just need to call the colors.
Exactly. The liveries are so gorgeous.
It's great for the fans, right? Numbers can be hard to pick up, especially when they're as small as these are and you're as old as I am. But the colors are brilliant out there as the field strings out just a little bit down the Mario Andretti straightaway. We've got one peeling off to the right. I'm not sure if he's trying to break the draft or if maybe he had a problem with the car, but still up to speed. The 12 is Francisco Esposito. 39 is Daniel Earl. 7 is Tyson Balbosa. The 8 is Alex Tagliani. Cedric O'Hayan in the 44. Lang Shu in the 3. Stephen Wistuba in the 99. Hamish Miller in the 41. The 2 is Robert Burgess. 22 is Kenny Reedman coming from the back as well. John Benwalden in the 93, and John Painter in the 9 after a tough crash yesterday in turn number 3. Had to go to a backup car, so John Painter at the back in the 9.
Daniel Earl is looking so strong. He won his race yesterday, and that was his first race this year that he won. And look at him go now.
He is on it. We got a side-by-side battle into turn number 3.
Kenny Reedman.
Reedman is making his way quickly towards the front of this one, peeling through the field. Almost up into the top 5.
Well, if Kenny finishes 6th or better, he is this year's champion.
Well, he's where he needs to be for the time being as they streak down the back straightaway. The top 2 leaders in lockstep down the back stretch. Clapham going to look to the outside of the straightaway down towards turn number 8. All the way up alongside our race leader. Who's it going to be? Caden Goodrich down low. Will give up the lead to Brady Clapham in turn 8.
Brady, of course, won yesterday as well, and he is on fire. And look at him go.
Such an aggressive competitor and a heck of a good wheelman. Brady out in front. Now it's a matter of pace. How far out can he get? How much car does he want to use up? Because there are others who are coming. Good look at the 12 of Francisco Esposito. And that mostly black with red trim. Number 12.
It's a warmer day today than it was yesterday. When they started out, they were all on cold tires, and there was a lot of sliding around until things settled down.
Oh, and the cars look planted onto the track today. How challenging is that? How long does it take a driver to know what the conditions are going to be? I mean, one pace lap to get up to speed. Can you feel at that point, or do you have to be up to speed before you know?
You really do have. Pace lap is not going to tell you, especially if it's cool as it was yesterday. But today, within the first flying lap, I'm sure they're feeling that they have the proper level of grip.
Alex Tagliani swings to the outside in that yellow and red number 8. He will make the pass on the 39 of Daniel Earl. Tagliani fun to watch no matter what he's driving. The field streaks through our position. I've got to stop being a race fan sometimes. I'll notice myself stop talking just because I'm enjoying watching them come through turn 10.
They're all using all of corner 2. You can see they're coming off the bottom there, going over the curving a little bit. They're pushing very hard. And look at Tagliani go. He's on a mission. Clearly, his car is working better than it did yesterday, and there he goes.
Turn 2 is another indication for us of how hard a driver is driving. If you use up a lot of that runoff, you're pushing hard into the corners. If you're able to keep that car inside of the rumble strips, is it fair to say you're conserving? You're not wanting to push those tires?
If you're going over, it would suggest that you're actually pushing past the limit of the tire. And it's a long race, so you don't want to have those tires get overheated early in the race.
Man, that's a popular move, swinging to the outside down the backstretch to make the pass into turn 8. That's Kenny Reedman picking up another spot as he makes his march towards the front. The top 5 strung out just a little bit. Reedman's just picked up that 5th position. Jonathan Woolridge is well inside the top 10 in that 26, running in the 8th spot now. The timing and scoring was throwing me off for the first couple laps because I don't think it was a different session. Doesn't take a whole lot to confuse me as we watch Daniel Earl out there in that green and black 39. What would be the difference? You know, you win on Saturday, you come out Sunday, although he is out front, is he not?
Well, Clappin certainly knows what he's doing here, and he just wants to get out and go, and he is doing that.
Lost our visuals for the moment, so we'll call it the old-fashioned way as we wait for the cars down into turn number 8, the highest speed corner on the racetrack. Another indicator we talked about turn 2, turn 9 is the same because all of these drivers try to keep their cars pinned as close to the left side of the racetrack up through turn number 9 to make that 90-degree corner in turn 10, streak down the start-finish line.
That's right. I mean, corner 9 sets you up for 10, and you're flat all the way down to corner 3, so it's incredibly important to get corner 9 right.
And do all of these drivers have coaches, Peter?
Some do, but generally, you know, they're pretty established drivers, and they know their way around. And this track, of course, it doesn't take too long before they really understand what's going on with it. As long as there's no fluids and what have you, there's a high degree of confidence that where they put the car, it'll stick.
And they run a very disciplined line. That's what I noticed, the entire field up here through 9. We'll see as the race wears on and the temperature of the day picks up. A lot of rubber put down by the Trans Ams yesterday, by the NASCAR Canada Series stock cars, so that can change the characteristics quite a bit of how these cars handle this fast CTMP track, and we've got one off. That's the 3. Lang Shu. Oh, and sideways across the racetrack.
Looks like we got a full course here. Full course yellow.
Okay, let's bundle these cars back up. Panic set in because we didn't have when you started racing here, when I started announcing here, the Castrol Tower was on the inside of turn 10. And that's where we announced the races from with no video support whatsoever. All we had, Peter, was a radio to hear what the corner marshals were saying.
Yeah, that's flying by by being blind.
Well, you know what? It kind of worked. Eventually, you got used to which corner marshals speak with more panic in their, not panic, but some of them talk differently over the radio, so you had to get a feel over how serious the situation might be. But boy, is it ever nice since the new building on the outside of turn 10, video to see these cars all the way around the racetrack. And let's reset the field a little bit. Brady Clapham after that amazing battle with Caden Goodridge. He is your race leader. Francisco Esposito quietly running in the 3rd spot. Alex Tagliani up to 4th in that red and yellow number 8. I have a feeling this restart we're going to see Alex Tagliani get fairly aggressive, get assertive out there and try to get a little better track position.
Well, this is the point where everybody resets. The heart rate comes down. The wheels start going in the brain, figuring out what am I going to do what can I do to advance. This is a very fast racetrack. The qualifying time here is a 1:19, and that's a 180-kilometer average lap speed. Average. So many corners here are taken over 100 miles an hour, over 160K. And, you know, when you're tooling around behind a pace car like this at a very slow speed, it will take a second to kind of reset back to the high rate of speed that the race takes.
I do a lot of short track racing, which couldn't be more different than this type of racing. It might as well be golf. But I know certain veterans, and I don't know if it's the same in road racing, so you need to be good for at least one spot to the good for every time you have a restart. You have to get up there.
It's all about timing and making sure that you're at the right RPM, in the right gear, so that you can use max torque to launch the car. And then the other problem here is that you're going along here quite slowly behind the pace car, and you have to reset your mind to the intensity of where you have to be looking as you arrive at a corner at very high speed. If you're off a split second, then you're off the track. This is because this track is so fast.
Well, and we've seen it. Thank goodness for the pavement they've put in certain places, the outside of turn 2, the outside of turn 8. What would be your worst crash here, Peter? Did you have any unfortunate moments?
Over the years, I guess I've had some pretty big crashes, but the ones that have been the biggest where I've been upside down would be at Toronto Indy and also at Formula One circuit in Montreal. Some of the endurance races here were really wild. You know, you're doing 24 hours in the dark and in the rain and you can't see, and sometimes it's pretty scary. But I've never had a really serious crash at CTMP.
That's a good thing.
It is.
Serious crashes here can leave a lasting impact. Lion Shoes still in that 3 car. They're going to get him hooked up and pulled back into the paddock area.
I was saying yesterday that as we look at the track and we see it from on TV, being on the track is entirely different. There's so many blind spots around this track. As you come up to corner 2, you have no idea what's on the other side unless you know that it goes left. The same thing happens at corner 4. Up the back straight, there's other blind spots. And there's deceptive, very tricky corners like corner 3, where if you go into it too early, you're not coming out because it's a decreasing radius. It loops back on itself.
And a lot of fans like to gather between turns 2 and turns 4. I love that area of the facility just because there is. Turn 3 is a peculiar turn. You have to trust what you're told is the racing line through there, because I can't imagine you pick that up quickly or naturally.
No, you can't see the apex as you enter. You have to keep turning and turning and turning until you see it, and then you can visualize and see the exit.
And then right to the outside of the racetrack, you don't keep the car on the inside like you might think is the shortest way around. You let the car drift up to the far left side of the racetrack.
That's correct. And then as you get over to 4 is blind as well. And it's very quick down there, and you have to be on the left-hand side to be able to come up that very steep hill into 5A, settle the car for 5B. Again, an incredibly important corner because it leads all the way through corner 8 to corner 9.
I've always meant to ask, when you come through turn 4, which is downhill left-hand turn, can you feel it in your stomach, or does the car stay fairly planted underneath you?
It actually wants to. It's a bit of off camber, so you have to force yourself to make the car go left. And then when you get down into the bottom of 4, you're right into the heavy braking of 5A. And you can use that hill to slow the car.
Oh, I would imagine. I would use everything. I would use a quiet prayer every time I head in towards turn. Everything I can think of to help that car slow down.
There's been some wild crashes at the bottom of 4 over the years, and cars right into the woods. But it's just the speed of this place is so dramatic. I think the fastest cars around here, the record is a 103.9 or a 104, and it's 136 miles an hour average. At one time it was the fastest circuit. Now I believe it's about the 3rd fastest circuit globally.
Is that right?
So that's very, very quick.
Setting up for a restart. Brady Clapham leads the Snake off of turn number 10. You can hear them start to pick up the throttle as they come back to the green flag. Everyone's staying in line as they head down towards turn 1. Clapham got a great launch.
You see Kenny Reedman is in 5th, and he needs more, I'm sure, to be more comfortable than being in 5th to win this championship.
You know, he won't want to take a lot of chances. He's running behind Alex Tagliani, who is very aggressive. by his own right, and the top 5 have opened a slight gap over Daniel Earl running in the 6th spot. Earl in that 39 didn't look like he took off quite as well as the rest.
No, he didn't. I think in the Masters class, I think Cedric is being very careful. This championship in the Masters is his to win. I think as long as the race is over 50% and he has not DNF'd, I think he will be the champion.
And what a season it's been. This series doesn't mess around with the tracks and the events it goes to. Toronto Indy, GP3R, those are treacherous places. Treacherous but rewarding and fun and big crowds and big energy, just like CTMP.
Calabogie was great as well, first time there, and on the short circuit, it was very entertaining. The cars looked really great on that circuit, as they did at GP3R.
Good track for these cars, I think, but these cars will be good just about anywhere. They present so well, and you shared some statistics with me, Peter, that weren't necessarily true. You told me 1,500 cars had been sold.
That's right, back at GP3R. Well, since GP3R, I've learned that Radical in 28 years has now produced and sold 3,000 cars. The 3,000th car being sold this year.
And what's amazing is we're not talking about different models, these cars, 3,000 of them, all out there for, as you said, a lot of people do track days with them and just like the performance of these cars, but I think it bodes very, very well for the future of this series.
The cars have evolved over the years. There's various models. The SR3 is by far the most popular, and that's what these cars are. They're all 1340cc engines, and if you very, very comfortable car to drive, very reliable, very economical, just a great series.
Field working their way up through turns 9 and turn 10. We just saw Washtuba go by in the 99. He is the leader of the Masters class, I believe. Am I correct there?
Yeah, I believe that would be right.
Stephen Washtuba, Jonathan Painter moving up into the 11th spot after having to go to a backup car from his crash yesterday. O'Hayan has dropped back to the 12th position, but he's right there in that battle as well.
Doesn't take these guys long to get right back on it, does it?
No, it doesn't. Fantastic 3-car battle. Francesco Esposito running in the 3rd spot, quietly having a great race, but Alex Tagliani and Kenny Reedman behind him. Don't look in your mirrors, Francesco.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. To see someone of the caliber of Tagliani in your mirrors is disconcerting, I would say.
You have to. At some point, you have to have a look, and it has to cross your mind, and then put it out of your mind and start hitting your marks once again. Brady Clapham not getting away too far from Caden Goodrich. Goodrich running in that 2nd spot. Dropped back about 15 car lengths, which is just under 1 second gap from 1st to 2nd. And then back to Esposito running in the 3rd spot. They pulled away a little bit from 3rd, but Esposito, Tagliani, Reedman right there in a 3-car tussle. There we see Washtuba in the 99, an all-yellow car. That is the leader in the Masters class. Jonathan Painter not far behind him. Oh, and we got a battle for that position. Washtuba and Painter, I'm sorry, that's O'Hayan, sorry, in the 44 on the outside of turn 3. They had swapped positions and swapped them back somewhere in the first couple of corners of that lap.
That's right.
Down into 5A, 5B, get a run down the long back straightaway. Hamish Miller right behind them.
This is a very good workout for these guys. You know, it's the level of concentration and keeping in contact with where you have to look when is a huge task at high speed.
No, these drivers doing a great job out here this weekend. If you're watching any of the screens, looking at Francisco Esposito, about 8 car lengths out in front of Alex Tagliani. Reedman has dropped back a few car lengths behind them. But you can still see that the top 5 are all within a couple hundred yards, and that's impressive to me, all within 5 seconds on the racetrack.
I know exactly what Kenny's doing. He's playing it safe. He's not putting himself at risk in any way, shape, or form. He's in a position right where he is, where he will win the championship, and I'm sure that's, number one in his mind.
And a simple glance in the mirror, when it's safe to do so, lets him know that there's nothing behind him really putting the pressure on. So as you say, great spot. Easy to understand what's in front of you. That's all in your line of sight. But a quick glance to see there's nothing behind you has to give him a little bit of peace of mind. He's got a good gap over Daniel Earl, about 2.5 seconds between him and Daniel Earl. But great looking trio of race cars down into turn number 8.
And Daniel Earl isn't really in his class anyway. Daniel's in Masters.
Okay. So Daniel's way out front in the Battle of the Masters.
Right.
How much different is it? We just had a good look of Alex Tagliani, and you could see the driver from basically the torso up. Do you feel exposed at all driving these cars, or does it feel better to be out in the open, Peter?
Oh, I've driven open wheel cars and open cockpit cars before. When you're driving, you're just focused on what's ahead of you. You wouldn't even know it.
I just saw it looked like a bit of smoke, and it might have just been my reflection on the screen, but it was out the back of the Kenny Reedman 22.
And that actually was happening yesterday as well.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
No, you're not crazy.
Well, I might be crazy, but in this case, there's maybe something out the back of that race car.
What you have is great eyesight.
Oof. Doesn't feel it, but what a beautiful day. Speaking of sight, great day in Southern Ontario.
It's almost rare to have 3-4 days like this in a row. At CTMP. It has its own weather pattern, as we know.
It certainly does as the field goes by our position. Jonathan Woolridge seems to have settled in around the 8th position in the 26 car, so got himself halfway through the field. But I'm not sure if he can get much farther. There's quite a gap between himself and the cars ahead of him. Kenny Reedman closing in on Alex Tagliani, the 22, mostly green with some blue trim. Closing in on the UPS store, sponsored number 8 of Tagliani.
You'll notice that some of the drivers sit on the left, some sit on the right, some sit in the middle. And it's a specification of each car that you can order that seating position.
I noticed that when we did our last broadcast, I had mentioned that because it looked unique to me. I would think sitting in the center has to feel better, but everyone has their own thought. At the same time, sitting on one side or the other, you absolutely know.
Well, Alex was telling me the other day, he was wondering whether sitting in the center was in some way, shape, or form impeding airflow into the airbox. And I've since talked that through with some people who understand the technical aspect, and they say no, it really has no bearing on it. But who's to know?
That's an interesting thought. It makes perfect sense. As we look at Esposito, the air intake is completely exposed. So if you're going 100 kilometers an hour, that's 100 kilometers an hour of air going into the airflow, where Tagliani's head is where that air intake would be. So interesting.
Apparently that airbox is designed as some kind of plenum that neutralizes the air and provides it to the engine at a proper flow.
Well-engineered race cars.
28 years of figuring it out.
Right? Brady Clapham continues to lead the way. I almost feel bad. There's not much to say about him. He just keeps running relatively perfect laps.
Well, Michelin tires, they are great, and a great partner of FEL Motorsports in the Emzone Radical Cup Series. Couldn't say enough about them.
Lang Shu in the 3 got back out onto the racetrack, so that's great to see. He's able to get out there and not miss out on the majority of this race. So whatever had happened with that race car was something the crew was able to fix.
He's only down 4 laps.
Francesco Esposito in that 12 car has put a bit of a gap between himself and Tagliani, but in fact possibly closing in on the leaders. Let's have a look once they go by timing and scoring. No.
Clapham has a good 3-second lead now.
Yeah, good. The best battle, the battle I'm enjoying watching is Esposito, Tagliani, Reedman, that trio of cars. There's only been 20 car lengths between them, and it sort of Tagliani moves forward in the battle, backwards in the battle, but still in that same 4th position. That's the turn 3 we were talking about, where they hit the apex, shoot right up to the outside of the track, stay to the left of that racetrack.
And see how they go hard left at the bottom of 4. That gives them a proper flow up of 5A and into a proper settlement for 5B, so they can go up the back straight. So important to have that proper shot out of 5B. When cars are this equal, you have to be, it's so tight to make any little change. You've got to not stress the car. You have to make it flow as much as it possibly can, because that's where you're going to get an advantage.
It magnifies every mistake. And even the most marginal of mistakes is Tagliani closing in on Esposito. Reedman right there as well. That trio as close as they've been in the last number of laps. Daniel Earl as well in that 39, sneaking up on that battle as well. Great camera shot as they head up into turn number 2, down the hill.
No one there is overdriving the car. They're being very careful. They're maintaining, they're not stressing the tires. They're just doing what they can to make sure the car flows.
And Esposito doing a fine job out there. It looks like Tagliani closes in a little bit through turns 2, 3, 4, down into 5, and then Esposito maybe with a bit of an advantage down the straightaway. But Tagliani definitely stalking his prey as Clapham has opened up another half second. He's just about 3.5 seconds up on Caden Goodrich.
Well, Tagliani's fighting for a podium, that's for sure.
He'll fight for everything. He is all racer all the time. Let's see if Earl's closing in. He was 2 seconds behind Reedman the last time by. And closed in a touch, not enough. When you're 2 seconds back, you've got to make up a little more than 1/10 of a second, but it's amazing what you can do as a driver when you feel that you're starting to make progress. It's like you find that little bit extra.
Well, sometimes it's called getting in the zone, where you're able to extract the maximum from the car without stressing it. And if you can do that and continue to do it, you build on that. And guess what? You're going to go fast.
So the Masters class, it's fantastic to have it. It's for drivers over what age?
40.
You're a driver over 40. Why is Alex Tagliani not a Masters?
It's you can elect.
Okay.
Whether you want to be in the Masters or not. This year, Burgess is technically a Master, but he chose and elected to run in the main class.
What would they consider a win? Have you ever had that conversation? I mean, you want to beat all the other Masters, but at the same time, how big a deal would it be for Earl to finish in the top 5 overall?
Yeah, it would be fabulous. I mean, he was up front in qualifying. He was 3rd yesterday in qualifying. So that's absolutely terrific for a Masters. It doesn't mean that you're a slow driver because you're a Masters. It's
No, a designation, but you know, everyone has goals, quiet goals. We celebrate the winner of these races afterwards, but there'll be other drivers, even drivers who didn't finish on the podium, as we got a battle down into turn 10. Jonathan Painter trying to make a move on O'Hayan. But there's drivers who won't finish on the podium, but they'll still get back to the pits with a huge smile on their face because they've achieved something, whether it's their fastest lap ever, or whether it's keeping the car on the track for an entire race.
You know, if you're a young karter coming in and you're looking at a career in motorsport, it's all about winning and winning at the top. For a Masters guy who may be just a very talented driver who wants to arrive and drive and, you know, and compete against other Masters or other people over 40, that's wonderful too. So the series provides the opportunity to basically have, as we have seen, 2 races ongoing at the same time.
Right, and as fans, I just enjoy the battles. I have to think about who's a master because we have to call it and announce it, but at the same time, I'm just watching cars racing on the track and having some fantastic battles.
And they're not far away from each other. I mean, that's the beauty of equally prepared cars. The performance envelope being very, very, you know, it's so subtle, the setup changes that you might make, driver preference and what have you, that would suit a style that allows a driver to go a little bit quicker than another.
It's a great 4-car battle in that Masters class, starting with Stuba in the 99, O'Hayan in the 44, the 9 of Painter, the 41 of Miller as they streak up through our position in turn number 10. Painter all over the back end of the 44. O'Hayan has a look to the inside down through turn number 3. Oh, contact! O'Hayan goes around in the 44.
Good save.
An amazing 360. O'Hayan is off the side of the track in the grass. Oh my goodness, I did not see that coming. I don't think there is a chance. That car is disabled. He is not going to make it. And that will probably end this race, Peter.
Well, let's see. He may have stalled the car. He may be trying to reset it and get going. He's seems to be working away at it, probably talking with his crew, how to reset, what to do.
I believe he's got a flat tire on the left rear, just the way it looked as it was coming up the hill. How hard are these cars to drive with a flat tire?
If he's got a flat, then he won't want to because it's right on the ground.
Let's have a look at this replay. Jonathan Painter swings to the inside, down into 3. They're working through the corner. Painter sliding up the racetrack, and did O'Hayan defend that? I would have thought O'Hayan would be all the way to the outside of the track. I think he might have been trying to pinch Painter down a little bit still. As Painter, you have to respect the line of the driver you're racing with.
Well, here's corner 3 again, and this is where John had an issue yesterday. And it's hard. It's not like you're in a straight line. You know, it's that track continues to go right. And I'd have to see that again to understand exactly how that happened. But it looks to me like John got into him, and at least the car didn't hit the wall, which is a much better thing. But
now they continue to battle.
I guess there's no full course yellow. That's for at this point.
I was surprised to see them looking side by side past where O'Hayan had pulled off, but the race still goes on. We are in the final moments of this Emzone Radical Cup. Clapham with almost a 6-second advantage. Esposito still has Tagliani breathing down his neck. Now, O'Hayan, you said, would have locked up the championship by getting to the midway point of this race. We're beyond the midpoint. We don't have communication with the official timing and scoring.
I don't think there's much left. Maybe a lap or two. Looking for a white flag, don't see it.
Yeah, nothing from the flag stand, so thank you for giving us that look. There's Esposito in the 12, just behind Goodrich. Fending off Alex Tagliani. Tagliani still that 0.4 of a second behind Esposito. They work down into turn number 2. This is the point of the race. You pull out the stops, you push the car a little bit harder, use that runoff area, the paved runoff area, don't use the grass runoff area. Tagliani stalking his prey, but Esposito's been doing a great job hitting his marks.
He's offering nothing for tag.
Battle. Tagliani to the inside of Esposito through turn number 5. He'll take that third spot, the final spot on the podium. Can Esposito fight back? He's right in the...
This is probably not over. It looks like we have about 2 minutes to go.
Esposito. Oh, fantastic. Tagliani leads them down through turn number 8 into 9. Little bit of traffic for the leaders ahead, but Tagliani with that spot.
There's the white flag.
Can Esposito close in on this battle as the white flag is displayed on the field? One more lap to go. Brady Clapham has continued to extend his advantage, but the race on the track is for the final step of the podium. Swing around some slower traffic. Esposito still able to stay in the tire tracks of Tagliani, maybe 2-3 car lengths gap, but how big a factor is the draft on the straightaway?
Well, in traffic.
They're coming up on a couple of slower cars down into 5A, 5B. Now it's a matter of getting back to the throttle as quickly as possible, getting that car pointed in a straight line for the long trip down the backstretch for the final time in this Emzone Radical Cup.
Alex came out onto the back straight as good as you can.
He's such an experienced veteran, knowing what to do. In fact, he probably knew when he wanted to make that pass.
He was probably stalking and waiting.
Brady Clapham brings it off at turn number 10. Checkered flag in the air. Clapham gonna take the win. Goodrich gonna come home in the second spot. Alex Tagliani by about 8 car lengths gonna take the third position over Esposito. Reedman secures his championship by finishing in the top 5. And then Daniel Earl wins the Masters division and a solid 6th place result overall.
Great drive by all.
Fantastic race, good driving.
Nice way to end the season.
Sorry to see the contact between Painter and O'Hayan, but O'Hayan can drown some of his sorrows in a championship.
Exactly.
Well, let's head down to Victory Lane and do a podium and enjoy these drivers. Brady Clapham going to celebrate. Feel free to salute the driver of the 77 as he salutes you on his victory lap. That was darn near a perfect run.
And thank you, Adam, for a fabulous call of a race.
It's just fun. I love this job. I love what we get to do. Let's go see the winners. Pat Gonzalez going to come back and join you on the PA, and we're going to go down to the podium.